Alright, well, we've got another UFC show coming up on Saturday, June 3rd, live from somewhere in Brazil. It's Jose Aldo taking on Max Holloway. And of course, since the show in Brazil, obviously all the names are going to be in Portuguese, and I'm not very good at pronouncing that, so I'm probably going to mispronounce these names quite horrifically over the next 10 minutes or so, but I really don't care because, Brazil, not a lot of people know this. They actually imported more slaves from Africa than the U.S. did, and it's by like a huge margin. I think the total number for the U.S. was like less than 500,000, but Brazil imported like 4 million. So just think about that. The next time you talk about Brazil and their rich history, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're all a bunch of slave masters. Just throwing that out there. Not that I'm trying to be contentious or anything. Or maybe I am, I just don't care anymore. But yeah, anyway, it's Jose Aldo taking on Max Holloway, our main event, and it's in Brazil. We don't care about Zika anymore. Man, that story kind of came and went, didn't it? But it's beside the point. We're finally getting a featherweight title decided for the first time since November of 2016 when Conor McGregor became the double champion and had to forfeit the belt. Whatever. Don't have to worry about that anymore because we're declaring a real 145-pound champion with Jose Aldo, the champion who was given the belt, taking on the interim champion, Max Holloway, who was also given a belt, and they're going to unify it. So it's going to be a champion and the interim championship merging to form a real championship. Because there's one thing the UFC doesn't have enough of nowadays, it's interim championships. Alright, so Jose Aldo taking on Max Holloway. Let's take a look at the stats here. You can see them for yourself. A huge height advantage for Max Holloway, but strangely enough, the reach advantage favors Aldo. Leg reach, kind of negligible. Holloway obviously rattling off more shots per fight, but Aldo clearly fighting better defensively. Takedown average favors Aldo. Takedown accuracy, slight tilt towards Holloway. Takedown defense goes towards Aldo. Submission average favors Holloway. Alright, so my thoughts. Right off the bat, I think this is going to be a 5-rounder. I think both these guys are very, very good. I think they're very good defensively standing, so I don't think they're going to go up there and loop each other's heads off or anything like that. I think it's going to be very strategic, very procedural. And I think it kind of comes down to who's going to get the most takedowns. I think Aldo is going to do that. I think he's going to end up controlling the ground game. And that's going to be the big factor because I think the striking game is going to be pretty much a tilt. And Holloway, I mean, he's got good defense. I think he's going to be submitted. He's not going to be ground and pounded. But he's not going to do enough on the ground to really overcome, what Aldo throws at him. So I think Aldo wins this one, unanimous decision, 5 rounds, and from there, who knows what happens. All right, I hope you're ready for me to butcher some names because we got a Brazilian and a Polak going on here. So you're not supposed to call them Polacks anymore, we're just call them Poles, which I think is a really dumb name. I'd rather be called a Polak than a Pole personally, but that's just me. So we got Claudia Gadelha taking on Carolina. So, yeah, let's take a look at the stats here. Really not a whole lot going on as far as the metrics there. Although it does look kind of funny to me that Carolina K doesn't actually have a leg reach at all. 0. So this right here, a lie. She's actually just a torso fighting. So, kind of surprised the UFC would book that. It seems a little dangerous, but whatever. Alright, significant strikes and grappling. Yeah, not really a whole lot for the striking. That's pretty even, more or less. But here's the big factor. Takedown average. 4.59 per fight for Claudia. 0 for Carolina. Takedown accuracy. She's getting about half her shots in. Carolina, not. Takedown defense, of course, is going to favor Carolina. So this is our matchup right here. Is the striking, or not striking, is the takedown game of Claudia going to be better than Carolina's takedown defense? And you know what, guys? I'm going to say Gadelha's better. I think she goes in there and she just takes down this poor girl over and over again, not really being able to do anything on the ground. Not going to be able to punch her out or submit her, but just kind of control that game and kind of neutralize her attack and make sure she really can't do anything. So I think Claudia wins this one. Unanimous decision. Not a whole lot to say about that one. Alright, Vitor Belfort taking on Nate Marquardt. No, it is not the year 2006. It is the year 2017. This is like third from the top on an actual pay-per-view people are paying money for. Alright, as we all know by now, Vitor Belfort, he is hanging him up. This is supposed to be his retirement match. And you got to figure Nate Marquardt's got to be pretty close to retiring too. This is probably both these guys. Loser leaves town indefinitely, no matter who wins. So, yeah, just one more time, look at the metrics. Not a whole lot to talk about there. Very evenly matched. Striking defense, pretty even. Nate Marquardt, the better wrestler. Takedown accuracy better for Belfort. Don't have to go into it a whole lot. Vitor Belfort, he's still a headhunter. I mean, unless you've got some really, really like world-class wrestling, or you're a very elusive striker like Anderson Silva from 5 years ago, you're not penetrating this dude. I think Belfort goes in there and he wins first round knockout, and it's going to come very early, like within the first 2 minutes. Because Marquardt's old, he really can't see out of his eyes anymore, and Vitor, he's still pretty fast for an old dude. He's got one more highlight reel knockout in him. Maybe even like a flying knee. That'd be crazy if he did that, but he gets this one. KO victory, first round, like within 120 seconds. Take it to the bank. All right, Paulo Borrachinha taking on Holloway Bamgbose, the Holy War Angel. And, boy, you think I could have picked a better picture of the guy than right there? Good Lord. All right, so what you know, Paulo, he is undefeated. Holloway is 6-2. Reach, leg reach, all that pretty similar. Here's the stat, and I have never seen a stat this high before. This absolutely blows my mind. Significant strikes. For Holloway, it's 1.89. For Paulo, 17.14. That's how many significant strikes this guy is landing. Like, if you see someone with like 9 strikes per minute, that's considered like insanely, absurdly high. And this dude's hitting like almost 20 a minute. So let's take a look at his accuracy here. What's the defense for Holloway? 51%. Oh, no, we're done. Forget it. I don't even have to look at the grappling statistics to know that if a guy's throwing and landing 17 shots per fight, and this dude's over here absorbing, at least half of them, yeah, Paulo's going to win this fight. He's going to win it by a second round TKO. Just when you're throwing that many punches and they're connecting, and your defense is not like world class, if you don't have like defense like an 80 or 90% range, you're going to get tagged sooner than later. And Paulo, he remains undefeated. Second round TKO. Should be pretty entertaining. All right, Eric Silva taking on Yancy Medeiros. And remember when Eric Silva was like a really like hot like welterweight prospect? Then he had that fight with John Fitch where he got John Fitched for, 15 minutes. Well, I mean, he's kind of been sort of, in stalemate most of that. He kind of goes peaks and valleys where he's fighting good for a while, then he plays crappy. And Yancy Medeiros, not Yair Rodriguez. I always confuse these two guys because why not? Look at the stats here. Pretty negligible as far as the metric. Strikes landed per minute obviously favors Medeiros at 4.01 per fight. Compared to 2.65. Accuracy, more goes for Silva. Defense, pretty much similar. So yeah, the only real difference here is Eric Silva is a little bit better of a takedown fighter. And but Yancy has good takedown defense. This could be a much better fight than I imagined. And of course submission average favors Eric Silva. You know what? I'm going to go with Yancy Medeiros to get the upset here. I think he's the underdog in this fight. Probably. Well, it's in Brazil. He should be the underdog because Brazilian crowds they're bad. So yeah, I think Yancy wins this one. Unanimous decision. All right, and one of the things that absolutely just blows my mind about this entire show. Hold on one second. I have to clear my throat. From all this MMA predicting. It's tough business. All right, so you look at some of the things that are on the main card. You look at Belfort and Marquardt, and you look at Silva and Medeiros. You really have to wonder why the Rafael Assuncao and Marlon Moraes fight isn't like on the main card. Because this is a good fight. This is two guys who probably are like top 5 in the 135-pound weight division. Obviously, Marlon coming in from World Series of Fighting. Assuncao, a guy who was fighting very, very good for a while, who's still a world-class fighter. Is apparent by the fact he's ranked number 3 in the division. This should be on the main card. But I'm guessing because it's a Brazil show, they're not really expecting a lot of people to buy the pay-per-view, so they just want to get like a really good rating for the FS1 stuff, so I guess that part kind of makes sense. So what do we know about these guys? Metrics, not a whole lot to worry about. Obviously, this is all a LARF because Marlon's never fought in the UFC before, so not using those metrics. I'm going to go with Marlon to win this fight, and I think he wins by late 3rd round submission. Why? because I just got that feeling. You know, we're not out here to be scientists. This is all really, really subjective stuff. I think he's going to get it and get a very good first impression in there, and he'll probably fight for the title in probably a year's time. Maybe even sooner, depending on how injuries shake out. All right, I'm just going to very, very quickly go through the rest of the card because, quite frankly, nobody cares about it. But you just want to do it because we want to be historians and, you know, cultural curators and do all this stuff. Antonio Carlos Juniper taking on, or not Juniper, Junior. Oh, look at me being ignorant. Taking on Eric Spicely. Quick rundown of the stats. I'm going to go with Eric Spicely win by submission because, look at that, 3.79 per fight, 0.7 for the other guy. He'll get a submission in there eventually. Johnny Eduardo taking on Matthew Lopez. $5 making tell me what that says. Something about my family flows, sleep, whatever. Doesn't matter. Distraction. Reach advantage for Eduardo. I'm gonna go with Matthew Lopez to get the upset here. I think he wins by unanimous decision. Yuri Alcantara, fresh off that huge comeback victory from the last pay-per-view, like 4 or 5 months ago, taking on Brian Keller. Don't really know a whole lot about Keller, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Alcantara just because I'm familiar with his work. And the fact that he looks very scared, like he's never seen a camera before, and he's afraid he's taking his soul. So I think he wins this one just on merits of me knowing who he is alone. He wins by decision. Not a scientific answer, I know, but we're not scientists. You know, we are the MMA equivalent of flat earthers here, and we're proud of it. Vivian Pereira taking on Jamie Moyle. Don't know who these people are. Honestly, don't know. So I'm going to go with Moyle because Jingo isn't. I got to go with my home country no matter what. She wins by second round stoppage. Luan Chagas, his nickname is Tarzan, taking on Jim Judo Wallhead, kind of looking like a meth-addicted Conor McGregor, taking on a guy. Do they just like get markers on these guys and just, you know, draw them up? Because that is... You got to know you're going to look stupid when you're 40 and you have that and you're all fat and out of shape. Same for this guy, too. He's like a swastika or something. Not sure. All right. Nothing with these guys either. Kind of a throwaway bout. But, yeah, I think Chagas wins it. He's got a pretty good record here. Against Wallhead's been fighting forever. What's the age difference on this one? Because it looks like he's like 40 and he's about 12. We'll go with Chagas. He wins it by second round stoppage. And our curtain jerker, Marco Beltran, taking on Divison Figueiredo. He's from Mexico. I'm guessing this Figueiredo guy is from Brazil. And all you need to know is the nickname for this guy is Psycho, which means he's got to be doing some pretty great stuff. He's 8-5. Divison is 11-0. Okay, yeah, Devison's going to win because this guy's barely got above 500 record, and this person who I don't know is undefeated. Probably undefeated for a reason. And if this guy is opening up the show and he's been fighting that long and has a record that bad, probably going to get his derriere handed to him. All right, so once again, those are my picks for the upcoming show. Take them, leave them. You know, take them to your bookie, take them to the bank, use them for entertainment purposes only. I don't care. But this is what I think is going to happen to the show. And if you're like me, you're probably going to watch it and, you know, regret paying all that money to watch it as soon as it's over with. But that's what we do here. We love MMA even when it's really overpriced and overvalued and probably not worth the time and effort. I mean, how else can we be fans?